Hey, good morning, everyone. I pray that you all are doing well. I pray that you've all had a blessed week so far. And this morning, we're just going to jump right into our topic. Today, we are talking about accountability. The reason I want to talk about accountability is because accountability, I know, is something that we all struggle with. I know I struggle with accountability. So I want to talk about it so that hopefully that it will help someone. So, looking at accountability, like I said, is something that we all struggle with. And the reason that we struggle with it is because we go through different stages of life where our accountability it comes in a different fashion. So, when we're children, we have accountability to our parents, we have accountability to our school teachers, we have accountability to our church leaders, and things like that. But then when we get older, our accountability for as far as an organization kind of changes. It changes to when we go off to high school, and then in the college, we're accountable to the school for getting our work done. You know, I heard a saying a long time ago that people do what's inspected, not expected. And so we all think that we're going to do the right thing. We're expected to do the right thing, but unless there's an accountability measure there, unless there's something to measure it by or something like I said, to hold us accountable, we can sometimes stray off from that. And I'll give you an example. In the military, when in the military you go through several inspections. You go through inspections once a year, sometimes once a month, quarterly, things like that. Well, because of the fact that somebody's coming in to inspect you, your organization is more structured. Your organization has more organization, meaning that because this inspection is coming in, you put things in nice binders. You put things in nice binders with nice colors and nice tabs on everything. And so, because you know that you are being inspected, you know that there's that level of accountability. But for our own lives, how much accountability do we really take? And so, as we get further in life, we have accountability to work, our bosses, our subordinates, also our peers, and then in relationships, there's accountability as well. Any organization you might belong to as well, you have accountability. But in the beginning of our lives, that accountability is kind of based on rewards and consequences. So if you do something, you get rewarded. There's somebody there holding you accountable, somebody inspecting what you are doing, and they will reward you for what you have done. But then on the other hand, there are consequences. If you don't do something, say, for example, you're in school and you don't do your homework, well, you get a failing grade. Or later in college, you don't do your work, you get a failing grade. Or even in your workplace, if you don't do something, you may get demoted, or even worse, you may get fired. So there's that rewards and consequences. So now we have to talk about our own lives and what is going on with us as far as accountability, because there are things that we want to do in their life. We have goals, we have things that we want to accomplish, we have long term, short term goals. We want to accomplish them. And so, how is it that we hold ourselves accountable? So, we're going to go through 5 quick steps on how we can hold ourselves accountable. And the first thing is have the right perspective. And by having the right perspective is simply by having higher standards of integrity. And that integrity is to no one else, but that integrity is to yourselves. That when you say you're going to accomplish something, when you say you're going to do a task, that you actually go out and do it. That is called integrity for yourself. So when you have the right perspective, then you're going to have those higher standards. And the next thing is know your limitations. Often we get distracted. We talked about this yesterday about getting distracted. And one thing that happens is we get distracted because we overextend ourselves. We overextend ourselves and say that we can do 10, 20 things at a time. We want to help everyone. As believers in Christ, we want to help everyone. If someone comes to us and they have a need, we are there to help. We want to help any way we can. Yes, I'm going to show up. Yes, I'm going to be there. And that's one thing that we can overextend ourselves because we have too many things, and we'll talk about this later. We cannot prioritize everything. Everything cannot be a priority. So first and foremost, do not overextend yourself. Know your limitations and clearly define what your priorities are. Hey, here are my great priorities. Here are my middle class priorities, and here are my lower priorities, because everything can't be on the same level. So do not overextend yourself, because as believers, That's something we want to do. We want to help everyone. We want to be down at the church volunteering for this. We want to go out on this food drive. We want to help the homeless. We want to do this. We want to be there for our children and their soccer games. We want to do so many things in our life, but we can get overextended. So that's one thing I want to challenge you to do is know your limitations. And then also, number three is find other things or people to be accountable to. Now, when we talk about other things can be your schedule, it can be a calendar. I know one thing that has helped me drastically get things together as far as accountability is my calendar. And I'll pull it up just for a second. So it's my calendar. So I have a calendar and it's monthly, weekly, daily, but I have it color coded so you can see what's going on. I know, hey, here is a high priority. If something is red, I know that I cannot miss that. And then I have other colors on there that just say, hey, this is just an alert. If you have free time, you can go and check out this teaching or something like that. But have a calendar, and that's how you can be accountable. The calendar is going to keep you on track. Side note for a second, when you're putting things on your calendar, I challenge you to put a little break in between 10 to 15-minute break in between meetings or tasks or anything that's on your calendar, because you'll need that time to kind of rejuvenate, to refresh, to get ready for the next, and to decompress from the last meeting you were in. I know from experience when I've gone from Zoom call back to back to back, I know that I get kind of when I don't have that break, I kind of get antsy, especially in the middle of the second Zoom call. I need to get up. I need to get a break, get something to eat. So put a break in between your schedule for your calendar. Next thing, write out a schedule as well. And these are going to help you stay accountable. We all talk about accountability partners. An accountability partner is a great tool if you can find it. Sometimes it's finding the right accountability partner. You might have to go through a couple. I know I've gone through a couple accountability partners, but having an accountability partner or a buddy, it's just like when you go to the gym. Having that other person that you're there working out with is going to help you, especially on those days where you don't feel as motivated to get up, to get to the gym or lift that heavier weight. The accountability partner is there to help you stay on track. So find someone who is also struggling with accountability and partner up so that you can help each other, that you can send each other texts, some daily encouragement or things like that. Bounce your schedules off of each other. That way you can have that sense of accountability. Next thing, establish deadlines. Make deadlines for your task. You should be setting up long-term and short-term goals, but on there, you have to have deadlines. That way, you don't just put something out there and say, okay, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to work on this project, but you have no deadline. A deadline is going to help you be accountable. And it's also going to help you to know that you're going to accomplish it by this particular date. For me personally, right now, I am building a set for our upcoming play, and my deadline is by Saturday to have it finished. And each day I have which items I'm going to complete on each day. That way, on Saturday, I know that the task will be completed. So set up deadlines for your tasks, for your goals, for your calendar items as well. And this is going to, once again, help you prioritize, because those things that are due here in the morning, or I'm sorry, I was reading a message. Good morning. Thank you all so much for joining in. I'm not able to see names, but thank you so much for joining in. Good morning. And so as we look at this, is going to help you prioritize. And so you know that things that are due today are going to get done today. Things that are done tomorrow, or things that need to be done next year, you're not going to prioritize them to get them done today, unless there are some things that have to do within a year from now, such as you have to get something submitted, or there's a deadline or something like that. But make sure that you establish deadlines for all your goals. And that way you will know that there's an end, because I know for me, once I like to hit a deadline, because once I know I hit that deadline, that project is over, completed, I can push it off my plate and I can get to the next item. So make sure that you establish some deadlines. And the fifth and final thing is learn from your successes and learn from your failures as well. I heard a saying that says you either win or you learn. And so learn from every situation. Even if you fail, even if you don't, even if you miss the mark, there's still a lesson learned. You can learn what you did wrong, what worked for the next time. This will help you make adjustments as you go through life for the next task that you have to do. And so keep track as you're going through a process, what worked, what didn't work, and this will help you in the future. So for example, we're setting up deadlines, we're knowing our limitations. By doing these things, as you see them begin to work, you're going to start to develop habits. And habits we've talked about before. Habits are going to help you stay on track and prioritize things and get things accomplished. So learn from your failures, learn from those things that did not work so you can make the adjustments. Because if you continue to do the same things over and over again with and expecting a different result, what's that? The definition of insanity. So today we talked about accountability. Accountability is so important because we need to there's so many things in our lives as believers that we want to get done. God has a plan for our lives. God wants us. He has a purpose for us. And if we're not accountable, first and foremost to God, but then to ourselves, having this accountability in our lives is going to help us succeed. It's going to help us grow. It's going to help us accomplish the goals that we have set out for. So once again, just to recap, have the right perspective that you have higher standards and you have self-integrity. Next, know your limitations. Do not overextend yourself. Next thing, number 3, is that find someone or something, a calendar to be accountable for, such as an accountability partner. Establish deadlines as number 4. That's very important. Make sure you have those deadlines so that you know this task is over, done with, I'm through with it. I can move on to the next. And 5th and final is learn from your failures. Learn from the mistakes you made so that you will not repeat them. Another thing, you know what? You're not supposed to introduce new topics into the final wrap up, but let me introduce this real quick. You can learn from other people's failures. There are plenty of books out there of people having success. They're always going to talk about their failures because you can learn from them as well. And so once again, accountability is so important in your life because it's going to get you more organized, going to get you more structured, and you ultimately will have more success. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Motivation. I pray that you are doing well. Pray that you're having a blessed day. Don't forget to like, to share, and comment. Facebook user not able to see you this morning again, but thank you so much. Great advice. Thank you. Yes. And good morning to you all. Thank you all so much for watching. God willing, we will see you back here again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Take care. Talk to you soon and God bless.